Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to put my top Sephora recommendations to the test. And of course, I did sprinkle in some extras into this video because I can't just run with one idea. I've got to like jumble it all together because that's just how my brain works. But it makes sense. If you're curious how I got this look today, just keep on watching. All right, so the first thing I wanted to share with you guys is this Color Wow Dream Coat in action. So I'm using it on the first layer of hair. You're supposed to section your hair. It is heat activated. So they tell you to use tension. So I'm using a round brush. And as you can see, I'm very shocked by the results. At the end of this video, you will see my hair is super shiny. I've been loving this stuff, so I definitely wanted to share it with you guys. That way, if it's something you think you might like, you can get it in the sale. When I let down my top layer, it is a little bit more heavy. My hair is thick on top. So I like to use the wet brush and just get my hair almost completely dry before I use the round brush on the top layer of hair. I just used the blow dryer to brush it straight with the Color Wow, as you all saw, and I will finish with the straightener once I'm done with my makeup. But I like to go ahead and get my hair halfway done. I'm going to now go into the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. This is something I definitely recommend with the Sephora sale if it comes back in stock in time, or rarebeauty.com has it right now available. So just wanted to let you all know that, because if you watched my Sephora recommendations video, you will know that I do not just recommend Sephora. I recommend finding the best deal. So I just like to brush my hairs up, and then I'm going to let it dry, and then I can kind of manipulate them where I want them once I start filling it in. It's just such a good product. Just with any brow gel period or brow wax, be careful not to overdo it. Typically, I'll just take my fingers like this around the edges right now before it dries, just to make sure I don't have any product where it doesn't need to be. All right, let that dry, finish your skincare. And yes, most of the skincare that I'm using today is in my Sephora recommendations, but this one I want to show you all on camera. It is the Goop Glow, which is from Goop Beauty, I believe. Is it Gwyneth Paltrow's brand? I think it is. Vita C Brightening Eye Cream. This is the deluxe sample that I got from Sephora. It's 5 mLs. It says gently apply to clean skin beneath and around eyes, AM and PM. This will last a very long time because you need the smallest amount of this product. And I've seen like instant results. So I've already got all of my other skincare on except for my lip mask. But I just wanted to show you all what this does. I don't have any product underneath of my eyes, but just watch, okay? I kind of just spread it around and then tap. It instantly gives a beautiful hydration to the under eyes, and it feels so nice. I'm just showing you how much I put. Okay, just a dot on your finger. Look at how beautiful and radiant that makes my under eyes. I absolutely love this product. I hate that it's so expensive because I don't want to pay that much money for a product. I don't want to suggest that you pay that much money for a product, but I'm telling you guys, it's something magical. It just leaves the under eyes feeling so hydrated, very smooth, and I think product lays on top of it so nicely. I want to show you the Laneige today. I actually got both of them sitting here, the two that I would recommend from Sephora. The Laneige, this is the berry flavor. I'm gonna put this on. Okay, very nice. But then I'm also going to add just a smidge of the Tatcha on the top lip, just so you all can see. Both of them are good. And another thing I didn't mention in this Sephora recommendation video is these are actually really good on top of lipstick as well. Like if you do a lip liner, a matte lipstick, and then you need something for gloss, try this. Look how nice and hydrated my lips are. I love it. The Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 3.5. I go ahead and take the caps off of both ends. So I've got my spoolie ready to go and my brow product. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the spoolie through my brows to make sure there's no excess product and to kind of get a gauge on if it's dry or not. Shade 3.5, I'm going to use this to line and fill in my brows. See how I just kind of follow the natural shape of my brow? I'm just going to underline right now, okay? Underline this brow, and I'm going to underline this brow. They are not even, so this is where it gets a little tricky when I fill in. I just like to go back and forth from each brow to make sure that they're looking pretty similar. In my last video, I did not recommend an eye primer from Sephora. That's because you cannot get MAC at Sephora, and I've just not tried any that I would recommend. I do want to try the Rare Beauty eye primer. A lot of people rave about that, so that will be something I may pick up during the sale. I do have the ABH primer, and I'm going to use this one today because it's more of a light white color. It'll make the shadows really pop. So we're going to try this one today. I'm breaking out of my norm. This one, I just take a small amount in my fingers and warm it up, and you will instantly see that this one is much lighter than the MAC paint pot that I use in Soft Ochre. So this one, I just have to apply it with my finger first, and that's a lot. Okay, so you all know that I recommended this brush, the Sephora 71. This is what it looks like. And let's blend this out before it dries. Now I take the damp sponge and just press it in to make sure that it is an even layer of eye primer on your lid. You don't want it to be uneven, and you don't want it to crease. I'm going to use the LYS Triple Fix powder. This is available at Sephora, and I would recommend it. It's just not an absolute favorite, so it didn't make my video. All right, guys, for eyeshadow today, I'm so excited to finally film with the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. I did create a look with this for my Sephora Recommendations video, and it is stunning. But I thought it would be interesting to not only use that palette, but in my opinion, the ColourPop 1111 palette is a dupe. Okay, hear me out. Let me show you. I'm going to put them side by side and show you what I mean. This shade up here is very similar to this shade, but yet also that shade is kind of similar. So I feel like I can get pretty close with that. And then the shade right here is very similar to this shade right here. And then the sparkly shades, 1, 2, 3, 4, all kind of are vibing with these. And then the pink is very similar to this pink right here in the middle. What else? This shade right here is very similar to this shade. I just feel like I can create almost identical looks. However, the only shade that's not similar is this matte shade right here and this one. This one's more yellow toned, more like yellowy brown. So what I'm going to do, let me sit back down and put these up before I drop them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ColourPop Nude Mood palette that has this shade in it, and that's the one I'm going to use to replicate the other shade from Makeup by Mario. I'm so excited. So normally I'll do one eye on camera and then come back. I'm going to do both eyes on camera today, but one eye is going to be the ColourPop palette and one eye is going to be Makeup by Mario. I'm so excited. I've got all my brushes laid out now, but I also wanted to show you this from the 1111 collection from ColourPop, the Shadow Sticks in the shade Angel Vibes. I might use this as my inner corner highlight. We will see. I just wanted to kind of show you guys this because it's really pretty. Let me swatch it on the palm of my hand here. Give it a good swatch. Look how pretty. ColourPop has some really good stuff, you guys. I'm going to grab the first shade as my transition, and let's do Makeup by Mario on this side, ColourPop on this side. And again, I did set the eye primer. Instantly, I feel like the colors are picking up more vibrant on the lid this time because of the different shade of eye primer, which is a good thing because this is a very soft look. So this will give it a little bit more punch. Switching brushes, Rose and Ben, E28, and this is the shade I used out in the outer V, I believe. Yeah. And then I just want it to softly blend into the transition shade. Going back to the BK Beauty brush, the 212, and that first transition shade, and I'm just going to buff a little bit more to blend those together. Okay, now I'm picking up just a little bit more on the Rose and Ben. I just wanted to pick up that intensity one more layer. That's my biggest piece of advice for anybody learning to do eyeshadow, is just to go in very light layers. Do a light layer, blend. If you're not happy with it, do another light layer. I'm going to take the Rose and Ben E26 brush. It's a very small angled liner. And I'm going to go into the darkest matte shade. And I'm going to pick up a light layer of this. We're going to just place it right at the lash line. And this makes it to where you barely have to use any eyeliner. So I love that. Alright, so see how I'm just dragging it up, making a little wing out here? Very soft. So not only do I want it to go up, I'm bringing it out a little bit, and then I'm going to connect it. So what I suggest is looking at all different angles, like turn your head several ways and make sure that you've got it even and that you've got it filled in. Now, that's what I like to do with this brush, but then I'm going to take the Morphe angled liner brush that's more like this, and I'm going to pick up that shade and I'm going to pack it right here in the center to connect, just to make sure that I have like full opacity going on. You don't want any patchiness, so just kind of press it along the line you just created with that other brush, because that other brush makes it very quick and easy to create the line, and this brush is what I like to use to fill in by just using pressing stamping motions. That is good. I'm going to add my glitter shadows now, and what I did last time is I just mixed them all. I used my finger, grabbed them all, and then lightly press. But you know what? I just thought of something. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to grab this shadow stick from ColourPop. I'm going to use it on both sides as like a little bit of an eye primer for the shimmers. So I'm going to lay this down. I got this new brush from Persona Cosmetics. It's a dual-ended brush. It's got the angled liner and then it's got this flat shader. I'm going to use this to see how that picks up product. Again, I'm just kind of mixing all the shimmers together. I'm going to lay that on top of Angel Vibes from ColourPop. Just kind of blend it out. I use my finger. The warmth of my finger will press in that shadow stick a little bit. Alright, then I'm taking the very lightest shimmer shade in the inner corner, just to really make it pop in the inner corner. This brush is nice. Very nice. All right, now I'm going to take this brush from Profusion. It's just a very dense blending brush. I'm going to pack that lightest shade right here under the brow. And that just kind of helps blend everything together nicely. Softens it a little bit. I'm just in love with this look. It's so easy. Let me clean up a little bit. I will say a lot of people talk about the fallout from this palette. I don't experience very much because I use such light pressure and light layers when I'm doing my makeup, but I can see if you press too hard that you would. So just be careful with how much pressure you use with your brushes. And look at that. I love it. And it'll look so much better once I complete everything else. But for now, that's the Makeup by Mario side. Let's do the ColourPop side. ColourPop 1111, let's see if you can come through. Now this one doesn't have a mirror, so I'm going to have to hold my little handheld mirror. It's easier for me to look in this one. All right, now I got to try to make sure I'm using the right shades. And hopefully it looks at least similar. All right, so we're going to go into Good Thoughts, which is right here. And hopefully this will be very similar to the transition shade that I used in my crease over here. Let's pray. Say a little prayer. Oh yeah, very similar. Maybe a little bit more yellow. We'll be able to fix that with the other shades. I'm just going to call it now. I have a feeling that you're not going to be able to tell the difference between each eye. Just saying. All right, now I'm going to go into Right Path, which is right here. And I hope this looks really similar. It might look a little deeper, but we can always blend it out. Just blend, blend, blend until it all makes sense. All right, going back into that first shade. I'm trying to blend them together. Okay, now I'm on to do the line. All right, the shimmers, they look a little different. But we're gonna pray for the best. All right. I can barely tell a difference. I didn't have that light shade, so I'm gonna go into Nude Mood and just add a small amount of that under my brow. I really can't tell that much of a difference. So I will put pricing on screen for you guys. I do recommend this one. However, I do recommend ColourPop. Next recommendation is the Sephora 12-Hour Color Eyeliner Pencil in Tiramisu. I'm going to use it just to line my upper waterline. The eyeliner is applied, but what I'm going to do is take that Morphe brush that I used and right through here, if there's any leftover product on it at all, I'm just going to use that to kind of smudge that liner a little bit and kind of help lay it down there where, you know, your eyes naturally water in the corner. So the less product there, the better. So I'm kind of just like stamping it around, smudging it a little bit, and then also helping it lay a little better with whatever powder's left on the brush. I'm going to use the Cali Ray So Blown Blurring Primer with collagen and peptides. This is a definite recommendation. Let me just show you why. So I took this much, and take a little bit from that finger onto this finger, and I'm going to show you what it does. Okay, right here. it just gives a very soft blurring effect to your pores. Somewhat mattifying, but it doesn't dry it out. It's very hydrating. This one blurs everything out. Look at the difference. So nice. I don't know how they did this, but the formula is stunning. We're gonna let that dry and move on to the Fenty Beauty Hella Thick Mascara. This is what the wand looks like. It's all right. Y'all ready for this? My lashes have already been curled with the Shiseido lash curler. I do that while I do my skincare and stuff, and while my brows are setting. That's when I usually curl my lashes. So good. And with this mascara, being a new tube, just be very careful with it. And then place it on the base of your lashes. Just kind of place the applicator there and then wiggle a little bit. And then go through, make sure you've got a good coat going on all of the lashes. The trick is, before you start to go crazy and make clumps or anything, put it back in the tube. Take a clean pair of tweezers or a lash comb, whatever you prefer. I want to be able to take the tweezers through certain areas to spread them out, to move them a little bit, to manipulate them to where I want them. If you have a clump, you can just use the tweezers to kind of gently pull it away. So do this before it dries. And then look. So good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more layer. Very light layer. Alright. Now I'm just going back through with my tweezers, making sure they're separated, making sure there's no clumps, and kind of just making sure they're exactly where I want them to be. We'll let it dry, and then I'll come back and I'll curl them one more time, and they will literally be lifted as if I'm wearing falsies. If you watched my video, you know that I did not recommend any of the foundations, like the liquid foundations. However, I'm going to use some of the newest ones that I have. 3 of them you can get from Sephora. I just felt like using them, and I like mixing stuff, so that's what I'm going to do. The Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop Blurring Skin Tint. I have it in the shade 7, so I'm going to take my palette here, and I'm just going to put a little bit out, like that much. Terracotta Le Tint from Guerlain. This is a very expensive product. I do love it, and I'm just going to pump out a pump of that. Makeup Forever HD Skin. I have it in the shade 1N14, which it's just a little miniature. Here's the cap, very cute. And then lastly, the Maybelline Super Stay. You cannot get this at Sephora, but I want to mix it in. The shade is 220, and just give it a really good shake. All right, I'm going to take whatever's on the spatula, and we're going to try to match it to my neck and my body. So let's just see what we got. For applicator, I felt like I should use the IT Cosmetics brush to show you what that does in action. And this is my first time mixing all of these foundations together, so hopefully it works. Well, we'll see. Sometimes the mixtures of foundations work so perfectly, and sometimes they don't work well together. But I love this brush. It's dual-ended. You can be very precise. You can go quick if you need to. It's very multi-purpose. You can use it for foundation. You can use it for bronzer, cream blush, cream contour. And then you can also use concealer. And I also use this to do nose contour sometimes. So it's very versatile. That's enough for that brush right now. I'm going to use my Stands Out sponge. I'm going to press all of it in. We are getting full coverage. We are getting a little bit of radiance. For nose contour, the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick in the shade Biscuit. I'm going to take this on the IT Cosmetics brush, and I'm just going to go like this. Grab some of the product on there, and then put it to my nose. The shade Biscuit is very light if you have light medium skin like I do. So it has to be built up on my skin tone in order to be really noticeable. But that's what I like about it for my nose contour, because I don't want you to know that I'm using contour on my nose. Like, I don't want it to be that obvious. You know what I mean? It's like a mixture of cool and warm tone. It's just the best contour stick that I've found for my nose. Just take some right on the bottom of my lip. Just softly blend that to make your lip appear a little fuller. For cream bronzer today, I'm going to use the Tarte. This is on sale right now for $14. This is what a full size looks like, unused. It's in the shade Seychelles. It's the Sea Breezy Cream Bronzer. It's on sale. I recommended this. You should definitely try it out. I have it as well in this palette, and I've already used it, so this is the one that I'm going to use. But I just wanted to show you what the full size looks like. I'm going to use the It Cosmetics brush. The same brush we used for foundation. I just wiped it off, and now we're going to use it for bronzer. I could dirty another brush, but I don't want to. So I'm just going to pack some of this right here on my cheekbone area. Okay. Now that I've got some placed right there, I'm going to make sure that I don't have too much on my brush. I'm going to take some up to my forehead. Yeah, I had a lot. I felt like there was a lot on there, so I'm glad I moved to a different area. But this shade is really good for me when I'm not extremely self-tanned. It's a very good shade for people who are, like, I would say light to light medium. Maybe fair could pull it off. I'm not really sure. Maybe if you're a fair skin tone, you would just go very lightly with it. But what I like about it is it's buildable, and you can build it without getting any funny business going on. Powder goes on top of it nicely. You could put it on top of powder if you wanted to. I just prefer to do it like this. It just blends right into the skin. It's so nice. So we're going to move into concealer. One that I recommend, number one, is the Haus Labs. This is the shade 21N, and I can pull this off on its own, but it's a smidge too light. I don't like it to be too bright under there. I'm going to take a little bit of this concealer down my center of my nose, just a very small amount like that. And now let's put some right here. I like to take it up to the inner corner right there, like that. And bring a little down towards my nose. That's about as much product as I like right there. And then I'll take a little bit out here. You don't need much. All right. Now, the other concealer in my hand is not from Sephora, but I want to use it because it's a little bit deeper. This is the combination I used in my Sephora Recommendations video when I filmed that. This is the concealer I mixed with the Haus Labs. It's from Fit Glow Beauty. I just found out about this brand. I didn't even know it existed. I watched a girl on YouTube. Her YouTube channel is called State of Kate, I believe. And she raves about that, says it's her very favorite concealer. So I had to try it. And it's good. The mixture of these two, you guys, I was blown away the other day. So let's hope and pray that I have the same result today with you guys. I'm just taking my Rare Beauty brush, the concealer brush that I recommended to you guys. It is one of the best concealer brushes that you can buy from the store. All right. Now I like to take the sponge, this flat side of it, and press that in on the bridge of my nose. And that's good. product is blended enough for now. Now we're going to move to this side because this is where I applied the first bit of concealer. And as you can see, I take it all the way up into my inner corner, right where we started eyeshadow. And I'm just pressing very lightly with this brush. And I bring it up to the nose contour area. And let those two kind of meet right there. Now I'm going to take the brush and start blending down here. And out here, be very careful with your wing and just continue to do small tapping motions. I'll let it sit there for a minute, and then I'll go back in with the sponge and everything in a minute before we powder, but just kind of let it sit there after you spread it out. Let it warm up to your skin, and then we'll finish blending. I'm taking this flat side and just kind of using that to blend out here. I find that that just helps smooth out this area. And then I'll turn it around and use the pointed side to blend near my lash line and inner corner. This Miracle Concealer Sponge from Real Techniques is a must. Okay, so now that it is pressed in, I wanted you to see what it looks like before I set with powder. So you can still see my texture through here, but my under eyes are covered. You don't see any darkness, and they look radiant, smooth. Everything looks really good. You don't have to set these. That's another thing that I do like about them, is that you don't have to necessarily set them, but I just prefer what the powder does for my texture. It helps blur everything, and setting with powder is going to give you more longevity. So I just prefer that. I'm going to use my Uma Beauty powder to set my under eyes only. This is a really cool component. You twist it and the powder comes out in the center. Here you can see I have the powder, and it's very micro fine. It's a very thin layer of powder, and it's going to set just enough without being too much. So now I'm going to take the powder puff, and I'm going to start in the inner corner and press up towards the nose contour and inner corner first. Press that powder down, and then with whatever's left on the puff, I'm going to take it and set out here. Very, very minimal powder. You just want a very thin layer. Now I have set the under eye. I'm just taking the sponge that's lightly damp and pressing it one more time to press that powder in, and we are set and good to go. I hope you can see the difference. It really does smooth everything out nicely without being too much. You don't want it to be drying or cakey under there, so just go very lightly with it. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder in the shade Pound Cake, which to me is a very translucent shade. This is the Pocket Puff Blender from Beauty Blender. I used the pink side to grab the powder and kind of smooth it in my hand to get it even. And then we're going to press it on the skin. So let's do my forehead. Okay. Now I'm going to use the Sephora collection velour puff. That's only $5. I will say that I washed it, and now the inside feels like it's kind of balled up in the center. So just keep that in mind. I don't know. I may have dried it on accident. I don't really know what happened there, but just something to note about it. And let's start right here. Let's see how this sets. Now I'm going to take this IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe powder brush. It's a small one. With whatever powder's left in the lid, I like to take this brush and just press it into where my contour and stuff is, because I just lightly set that area with the puff. the Benefit Hoola Bronzer. I have a miniature size, and I'm just going to take it on a angled contour brush from Shop Miss A. Such a good one. The Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Blush Balm in the shade Rose and Brunch. I'm going to use it on the It Cosmetics brush. Packed it on the brush, and now I'm going to press that over top of my cheekbones. Just gives a nice soft wash of color depending on how much you use. So I'm using it over powder, and I'm going very light with it. This can be very pigmented. Watch this. Just show you. Like, you can get the pigment. So I'm taking whatever I just put on my hand into the brush again and just lightly stippling that, and it does give a nice blurred look to the cheeks. Really nice. So this side I did a little bit more to show you the pigment. So there's more product on the brush this time. So I'm going to take a little bit over here to match it up. But I just wanted to show you, you can go very soft with it, or you can go very pigmented, whichever you choose. Let's jump into the Glossier Brow Flick, and I have it in the shade Brown. This one you have to shake it really good. Here's what it looks like. And we're going to start at the tail, like out here, do some flicks. It's the same concept as the NYX Lift and Snatch. It's a pen, so you're just going to go light strokes to fill in. Pretty, huh? And if you want to just stay with a natural looking brow, you're done. Look at the difference. All right, we're going to go ahead and recurl my lashes. Now they are extremely lifted. Let's move into lips really quick. Top pick is the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Wherever Walnut. I like Anywhere Caffeine as well. And actually, Anywhere Caffeine would probably look better with this look. So what I'll do is I put a little bit of the Wherever Walnut. This is Anywhere Caffeine. It's more of like the terracotta brown. That'll match my shirt better and the eye look. I feel like Wherever Walnut goes with more of my lipsticks in my collection, but you can't go wrong with either. The ABH in the shade Tease. This one's getting down to the nitty gritty. Okay, got a good layer of that, but I want to also show you the Bobbi Brown Crushed Oil Infused Glosses. This is the shade Bellini. This is the premium size that came in that set that I was telling you all about from QVC. It just came in, and we're going to try that on top today. This I've never tried together. This shade does have a little bit of glitter to it, and it matches perfectly with Tease. So that is beautiful on its own, but I do want to show you what the difference is when you add a little bit of the Laneige lip mask on top of any look. So I'm just taking a very small amount, very, very small amount. I'll place it in the center. It just adds a beautiful, like, almost plumping effect. If you just put it in the center, I don't know. It's a very, very good hack that I learned from Tati, believe it or not. I'm going to use a little of the LYS Skin Loyalty Okay, I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. And then I'm gonna show you another little hack that I love with the One Size Turn Up the Base Versatile Powder Foundation in the shade Light 2N. You can see I've hit pan, but this has lasted me for so long. I like to just take this brush and just kind of swirl this along, like underneath of my contour, and then kind of stipple, just blend everything all together. You can also use a powder puff if you want, but I'm using this to kind of just blend everything together. To set it all in, I'm going to use the One Size On Till Dawn. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Hopefully you could see that. It's a very fine mist, but it's pretty strong. And then lastly, I use the Lancome Lash Idole mascara on my lower lashes. Beautiful. All right, guys, that's all of my recommendations put to use. The only thing left for me to show you is the Rare Beauty Positive Light Silky Touch Highlighter in the shade Mesmerize. I'm going to take it on the small little brush. I'm going to put that right in the inner corner of my eyes because it's like, whoa. It's such a nice highlighter. And I'll use a little bit up here in my brow bone. Also put it right here in your Cupid's bow. And I could put it everywhere else, but I don't really want to because I don't want to mess up my complexion. I want to keep a nice smooth base. So this is what the skin looks like. Everything looks really good. Hey guys, I'm back. This is going to be my first check-in. I went to pick up the kids, took the dog with me, so I've got copper hair literally all over me right now. It's probably all over my face as well. But I've had this makeup on for about 2 hours now. So I wanted to do plenty of check-ins, and I wanted to talk to you all a little bit more about the products because I feel like that's kind of what is missing from a lot of the videos, is that there's copper hair flying around now. I apply the makeup. I tell you all how it applies and what I think about it, but I don't really do very many check-ins. The mixture foundations is not my favorite. It's not sitting on my skin the way the foundations that I wore yesterday did. So that's a little bit of what's throwing me off through here. I can see more of my texture than normal because a lot of those foundations that I used are more like radiant. So keep that in mind. But I do really like how everything turned out. I cannot tell a difference between each eye with the eyeshadow. Of course, I can't see until I'm editing what my eyes look like when they're closed, but when they're open, I can't tell a difference. So I think that's pretty remarkable considering the price difference. I wanted to talk a little bit about my hair because I did do some footage of me styling my hair with the blow dryer and stuff. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the products. The Color Wow, this stuff is really, really good. Sorry about the glare, but you have to use this. It's an ultra moisturizing anti-frizz treatment. Straight, smooth, glass hair results. Infuses moisture and frizz proof for days. Okay, I get highlights and lowlights. I've not had my hair done in over 3 months. What you're seeing now, I'm a natural blonde. So my lowlights that look almost red, that's my natural blonde trying to come through. My highlights still look pretty good because I do use a purple shampoo to make my style last longer. I usually go every 3 months, but hey, Brittany, if you're watching this, call me back. Message me back, please. Hit me up. I need to make an appointment. She's a busy lady. Anyway, I need to get my lowlights redone. It gives more of like, I don't know. It looks really good still, don't get me wrong. And I wanted to talk about this product because you can see the shine. My hair is not at its healthiest right now because it needs cut, but you can see how shiny and healthy it really does do a good job. So that Color Wow Dream Coat Extra Strength, it's a really good product. You do have to use tension. It tells you in the direction. So I used a round brush and heat to style. And then I also used the Bumble and Bumble Heat Shield Thermal Protection Mist before I used my Paul Mitchell straightener to straighten my hair. So that is what is going on with my hair today. All right, so let's just talk a little bit more about what's going on my face. The blush is still blushing, looks really good. I do prefer the NYX Lift and Stretch Brow Pen over the Glossier. I just feel like the NYX is a little bit more natural looking. The lips, I have applied the Laneige over top of the lipstick combo, and I have not had anything to drink, so that's why my lips still look fresh. If you get up close, you might find a copper hair. Just saying. He was like all over me when I was trying to drive. Anyways, guys, that is my first check-in. I will come back at the end of the night before I take everything off, and we'll see how this wore and how many hours this held up. Hey guys, it's at the end of the night. I'm about to take everything off. I just wanted to come back and show you. I knew this was not going to wear as good. You can see the radiance peeking through my oils, and copper licked a little bit of my foundation off there. But I went ahead and reapplied some of the Laneige lip mask just to make my lips feel better. They were getting really, really dry. So I added a little bit more of that, but everything else, my eyes, they always last well, but that Anastasia Beverly Hills eye primer really did a good job. I absolutely still cannot tell a difference. My husband could not tell a difference between the two eyeshadow looks. He had no idea that there was two different palettes. I thought that was really awesome. Everything looks really good still, and it is 10 p.m. and I started filming this video at like 10 a.m. I didn't finish my makeup until later than that, but I started like getting ready, doing my hair around 10 a.m. So I would say I finished my makeup around 1, 12:30 to 1 o'clock. So we've had this on for a good 9 hours, and other than you seeing my oils come through, it's not breaking apart. The blush is still hanging on. The under eyes are, sorry, I hit the camera. The under eyes are a little bit dry, but they're not overly creasy or anything. And the brows are hanging on for dear life. They'll start to come through. My brows start to get real shiny. So they are a little extra shiny, but anyway, everything worked out really good. I hope you like having a little bit more of the details towards the end of the night and seeing how these products work for a long period of time. I think that's very helpful. That's what I'm here for. I hope you all enjoyed this, and hey, if you can't afford that Makeup Memorial palette, get the ColourPop 11 to 11 before it sells out. It's a really good option. So hope you all enjoyed this. See you next time.